Hello people and welcome to another Planetside 2 video. I hope you're all doing good. My name is MattiAce and this time I'm going to try to show you how I make use of the hover stability airframe while attacking ground targets. Now hovering like this, standing still in the air and just descending down in the ravine like I'm doing here is something that is very risky to do, and I would advise against it in almost every situation, but there are no rules without exceptions, and this might be one of those times when you can actually make one of those exceptions. As you can see, by descending down the ravine like that, I was able to get rid of the lock-on missiles that was locking onto me without using the flares. That is a quite reliable way of removing the lock-ons, you know, making sure that you have whatever obstacle between you and whoever was locking onto you. But as with many things about this game, you can never be sure, so you might as well just use the flares if you have them. This is one of those times where we have been pushed back to our warp gate, and if you are an NC player, you will be able to find this ravine to the west of the warp gate, just a few hundred meters out towards Camp Connery. Now the airframe hover stability obviously makes it easier to just stand still like this in the air, but that is, I would say, the least important part of this upgrade. Now the reason why I choose hover stability to begin with was because of a vertical thrust. I thought it was going to be useful. It is useful. I thought it was going to be a little bit more useful. The thing that made me a bit disappointed about it was that it doesn't work if you are moving forward. You have to basically stand still and have your thrusters pointed downwards, and that's when you can use your vertical thrusts to its full capacity. But it's very useful also in dogfights, and obviously for this purpose it will make it fairly much easier for people that are new to flying ESFs in Planetside 2, and it makes it a lot easier to stop in the air. It makes it a lot easier to stand still and find your target, but again, this is extremely risky and I would normally advise to not do what I'm doing right now. But like I said, there are very few situations where this is a quite useful strategy. The thing is that by constantly showing my presence here, the Terrans here over at Camp Connery have spawned a lot of anti-air. And basically what this means is that every anti-air that I kind of force here, or that I kind of bring out from our opponent, is an enemy that is not firing on our ground target. So it makes it easier for our infantry and tank columns to move forward, because a lot of the enemy forces are trying to get rid of just me and a few other ESFs. I am also picking off a target here and there, so... I'm also trying to move around a little bit to find a new angle and try to deal damage from another position. I am very predictable here. There is no question for my opponents where I am, so that's one of the risks I'm taking, but in this situation I'm willing to take that risk, and I think it's worth it. And I'm not really sure about these anti-air turrets, if they can actually fire back at me when I am kind of like shooting at it from this angle and letting my projectiles hit from below the landing pads. But yeah, I'm not really sure about that. But as I see our ground troops are getting closer to the base here, I start focusing on the anti-vehicle turret instead, because that one is clearly going to be a major problem for our tanks and Sunderers. And I was able to pick it off there. I'm sure that a couple of tanks were shooting on it as well. And also normally when you see a Sunder like that, if you can pick it off, you will obviously deny the enemies from spawning in. But this is far more important when you are actually defending a base. And in this case it doesn't really matter, but I'll take it out anyway. So now another thing that hover stability will give you is better air brakes. And that can be really useful in situations like what you're seeing here. This site just spawned in and I almost crashed into it, but luckily, being that I had the hover stability airframe, I was able to brake and stay behind it while reloading so that I could finish it off. Now the most important part of this upgrade is the strafing capability it gives you. By using upwards thrust or vertical thrust, you can actually strafe like this while firing on a ground target. And it's not only against ground targets this is useful. but this is also very useful in dogfights as well. This time I'm fighting a Liberator, and yeah, this is quite an unusual situation, but something that makes me really nervous is when I'm going like face to face with a Liberator, because if they have the tank buster, they'll be able to kill you in a split of a second. It's like being one shot by a tank. So I hope this tutorial was to some degree helpful, and thank you so much for watching. Please stay tuned for more content. I am coming out with something that I find myself to be very exciting. I'm gonna start making a few videos team working with some other very experienced and high-skilled Mosquito pilots. So yeah, I'm hoping that you're going to be interested in that, and please stay tuned for more content. Bye for now.
Hostile heavy tank spotted.